How did you start to learn how to identify what is perhaps unconscious bias or racism in the workplace and what is actually maybe there was someone that was just more suited to the role than you?
I was not offered a role, but the manager said to me, we can't offer you the role because of the previous person who was in the role shared the same attributes with you. And that's why we can't offer you. And they had challenges then. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about large multinational organization, and you can still face this sort of issues. So for me, that was an eye opener. I had two options. One option was to kick up the dust, start fighting the organization. Another option is to look for a way to get a candid advice on who can really help me understand how to solve that particular problem. And I was able to actually get someone who was genuinely honest to me, say, you know what, you can fight this, you'll win it, right? It might damage your career. Personally, mentally, the fight might be brutal because who you're fighting with and things like that. That the best way to go about it is discuss with the organization, reach a compromise. My confidence, that was the key thing that I was trying to restore with that. And the organization was able to support me. They apologized. They actually made me champions in things that actually help correct such things happening in the workplace again. So for me, that became the big game changer. I started mentoring people in that space as well, because you can face discrimination for anything. You can face discrimination for your haircut, for your dress style, for anything. And it's not necessarily race sometimes.
To have got to the position where I'm sure many of you have mentored someone, how have you yourself got to a position where you felt you have had the answers and the self-empowerment to do that, and where's that come from?
To become a mentor, you obviously need to know your stuff, right? Because that's the whole point, to be able to help people navigate through that work. And that can only sort of happen through experience. If you have a good manager, someone who supposedly believes in you or is a good leader that is able to sort of instill good values and work ethics into you in your work experience, it really empowers you as a person and it grows that confidence alongside your experience. A combination of having that backing and support of someone within your organization, as well as you just, building your experience and knowledge to be able to confidently then provide that additional support to other people who look up to you. I think that's the important thing.
You can't just expect people to come to you and offer to mentor you. You have to go and look for those, create those opportunities for mentorship yourself. When I was in university, there's one particular company that I wanted to work for, and the application process was extremely rigorous. I sort of sought out people within the company, individuals within the company to mentor me, if you like. And it worked really, really well for me. And I think you just have to have a dream. You have to know what you want and then find a route to get there. And that person eventually became my mentor in the engineering world, and he's still a very dear friend to this day. So I think that's one thing that I'll suggest: actively, seek out your mentors. In terms of mentoring other people, I think I'm very, very passionate about mentoring others, especially younger ones. So I volunteered to be a STEM ambassador. So there's a shortage in the UK of candidates in that, field. So I started going to schools, and I've found lots of people have come along with me on that journey. I'm currently mentoring a chap that's about 18 years old, and I've seen him all the way through school. So yeah, I think it's important to actually actively mentor people, and to look for mentors as well along the way.
When I first experienced sort of discrimination itself, when I was applying for my first job. So I did a master's degree, and a lot of us were applying for graduate programs, but I wasn't getting interviews. We had the same CV, the same qualifications with my colleagues. And I was thinking, why? Then somebody actually said, take a step back. Let me look at your CV. My name on my CV was actually my Nigerian name. People call me Chris today, but actually my Nigerian name is called Namdi. So I used to use my Nigerian name, Namdi, and my last name. So someone advised me, maybe it might be your name that people are already profiling you out of the door. I was advised to actually change my first name, which is Namdi, to my middle name. Once I changed that Chris, next time I started getting interviews, I'm like, oh, that was like the game changer. So I didn't realize it back then. I was like, you know what? Oh. But now thinking about it, that's when it started for me, because I had to flip my first and middle name to secure interviews, to secure a seat